Hey, ladies. Okay, so I found this great story and I wanted to bring it to you. David Rubenstein sees Warren Buffett as the ultimate investor. The private equity billionaire lays out the 12 traits and habits that are key to Buffett's success. So, the first thing is Warren Buffett. If you don't know who he is, he's a super, super, super huge investor, known for value investing. He's about 90 years old now, from Omaha, Nebraska, like number four, fifth, five richest man in the world. Definitely check him out. Um, he has Berkshire Hathaway is his company. David Rubenstein, you may be a little less familiar with, but I'm going to show you his biography here because he's super huge as well. He is the co-founder and co-chairman of the Carlyle Group, one of the largest and most successful private investment firms. It was established in 1987. Carlyle now manages $325 billion from 26 offices around the world. And he also does a lot of other stuff as well. But look, where the money resides, where the money resides. So let's learn from these gentlemen what the traits are to success, at least financially. So, um, one of the things that it says here is that David Rubenstein interviewed 22 of the world's best investors for his new book, How to Invest: Masters on the Craft. He dedicated the compilation to Warren Buffett, calling him the ultimate master of the investor craft. So I'm probably going to get this book, or we'll probably have a little book club around this, but let's see what the 12 traits are. Number one is dedication. Buffett has focused on investing as a skill, and he is a pure investor. He made it a lifelong vocation. Number two, simplicity. He doesn't have a gigantic team. He does his own analysis. He makes his own decisions and can make them very quickly. He also does not depart from his investing philosophy, and he always sticks to his price. That's all under simplicity. Number three is affability. Buffett has a unique ability to communicate in a charming, folksy manner. He's very easy to talk to, and he also has a good way of putting ideas together in an easily understood way. Next thing, humility. Warren Buffett doesn't run around telling everybody how smart he is, how rich, swaggy swag he is. I threw that in, obviously. He doesn't have any airs about him and doesn't tell you how great he is. He's actually very unassuming. Unless you knew who he was, you wouldn't know how rich he is. So, intellectual curiosity. Warren is a big reader. He's able to absorb an enormous amount of information. He says he reads about 500 pages of annual reports, regulatory filings, and other documents each week. So, ladies, he does get into the boring stuff, but because of that, he has the edge on a lot of other people. Contrarianism. Conventional wisdom is what great investors tend to defy, and Buffett is a great example of it. Rubenstein pointed to the Berkshire Chiefs' refusal to get caught up in the dot-com bubble. This was in the early 2000s, ladies, when the dot-com actually crashed, or the run-up in stock prices during the pandemic. So he doesn't let what's happening around him affect his judgment. So number seven, discipline. He's willing to hold on to a lot of cash until he finds something worth buying. Berkshire's cash pile swelled to nearly $150 billion last year. Then Buffett and his team spent a record $51 billion on stocks in the first quarter of 2022. Ladies, could you imagine having $150 billion in cash, and yet you have enough discipline to not spend it, but to wait on the right thing to invest in? That is what Warren Buffett does. Number eight, learning from mistakes. If you're in the investment world, you make mistakes. You can't be batting $1,000. Sorry, you can't be batting 1,000. No one's ever done that. None of the great investors are afraid of making mistakes. They always try to learn from their errors. Buffett owns up to his mistakes and moves on. So you're going to make mistakes in investing. Number nine, openness to new ideas. Buffett wouldn't claim to be a tech investor or the first person to understand the new technology, but he recognized Apple was a gigantic consumer products company with almost a cult of loyal followers, customers, and employees. So Berkshire invested about $36 billion in the iPhone maker between 2016 and 2018, and its stake has ballooned in value to about $130 billion today. So, ladies, they put in $36 billion, and right now it's valued at $130 billion. Talk about a return on investment. Number 10, buying and holding. See's Candies, Nebraska Furniture Mart. He's owned these companies for a long time. He doesn't sell them. He tends to hang on to them forever. Rubenstein noted that not selling avoids transaction costs and taxes on capital gains, leaving more money to compound in value over time. He added that Berkshire's long-term ownership appeals to business owners who want to cash out and still run their company or desire a permanent home. So they buy and hold. They're definitely long-term investors. Number 11, frugality. Buffett hasn't let all the wealth go to his head. He hasn't spent money in ways that seem frivolous. He lives in the same house as he did in the 1960s. Until recently, he drove his own car. Again, the guy's 90 now, so he probably has a driver. That's why he doesn't spend money on pieces of art designed to make him a famous collector. So he's frugal. And number 12, the X factor. Buffett built a company just on the strength of his own brain power. He's unique because he's basically been investing for 60 plus years. He's built the most successful conglomerate in the history of the world, and he's done it without losing his charm and common sense and folksy appeal. So, one of the things that I did want to say with regards to this list about Warren Buffett is they never said that the key to his success was that he has a whole lot of money right now, um, or that he started with a whole lot of money, even though he did start a couple of rungs above where we are on the economic ladder. You know, he wasn't broke when he got started. Um, it's not necessarily about the money he had when he got started. It's about his investment philosophy. We could do the same thing, ladies. We may not necessarily get to $160 billion in cash sitting, waiting for the next investment. But that doesn't mean that we can't take the traits that Warren Buffett has today and start with our little $500, $1,000, $10,000, however much money we have, and get started with the process. Because these traits that Warren Buffett has, any of us can have. So that's it. I will see you in the next video.